Okay, we're going to call to order the meeting, regular council meeting of Monday, July 18th, and welcome everyone who's with us and who's watching us this evening. So we're going to begin with the acknowledgement of treaties of peace and friendship. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Wolastoqiyik, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized the Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Thank you. Olalam. Next is the reaffirmation of the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. Next is the moments of reflection. And at this regular council meeting, we will have a moment of reflection for Cora Levine of Lauren, Rita Mullally of Lauren, Thomas Fournier, previously of Beldoon, Elfrida Gooden-Hines, previously of Lauren, and Emma Jean Harvey of Nash Creek. We have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
I would like to remove agenda item number 6.2.1 from tonight's meeting.
Do we have any other changes to the agenda? On the question, do we have a seconder? Or excuse me, sorry. Do we have a mover for the agenda with the changes included?
So moved, Your Worship. Nope.
I move M 2022-07-18-117 that the minutes of the Committee of Whole meeting, that the agenda 116, that the agenda is adopted as with the changes.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The amended agenda is adopted. Statements of conflict of interest. If any council member needs to acknowledge a statement or conflict of interest, please notify the clerk. Next is the motion to adopt the minutes. These are from the regular meeting of the 27th of June and of the Committee of Whole, June 6th.
I move M 2022-07-18-117 that the minute of the Committee of Whole meeting of June 6, 2022 and the regular meeting of June 27, 2022 be adopted as presented.
We have a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion is accepted. Business arising from the minutes. We have no presentations, petitions, or delegations. We move down to statements by members of council. Deputy Mayor Burke.
Just prior to reading the motion, Your Worship, just some information that I received this evening. In the motion, it shows that 19,000. That will be 12,000. we now have a second price from another contractor, so instead of costing $19,000 to repair that, it will be $12,000. So the motion will read that way. So motion M 2022-07-18-118, the council approved a repair from damage that has been done to Mr. Stevens' property at a cost of $12,000 since the Village of Beldoon has used Mr. Stevens' driveway for a turnaround for many years now, and that the DTI plow also turns in his driveway, which has resulted in damage to his driveway.
Can I get a
I'll
seconder?
second it.
Seconded by Councillor Carmichael. On the question, do we have any?
Just to comment further on that, Your Worship, you know, the results of that is over, you know, a long period of time. Our garbage truck has turned in that driveway for many years. So has DTI. However, I've been informed by the CAO that DTI have basically told us, it's your problem. So with that said, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be against suing DTI, because at the end of the day, they probably are more responsible for the damage done to that driveway by turning in it with salt and, you know, trucks and the loaders and things of that nature with the plow and the weight of those vehicles. But by the same token, I'm not a believer that that alleviates our responsibility. If DTI want to neglect their responsibility, you know, we can take further action if council so chooses. But the other side of the coin is I do not believe that we as a council, that solves the issue that we're accountable for. With that said, you know, that's where I stand on the motion, and I'm looking forward to the vote.
Do we have any as council members who wish to contribute, or CEO Kingston?
Just to clarify, Councillor and Your Worship, thank you. The costs from St. Isidore Asphalt were $16,521.64 plus HST, and the one from Legacy Paving is $12,622 plus HST.
Okay, so with that, we have a motion.
I just have a quick question,
Yep,
sorry.
sure.
I'm just wondering, did Mr. Stevens ever bring the issue forward to council prior to this much damage? Like, has he, like, I'm just wondering, if somebody was coming in my driveway for the past 10 years and it was causing damage to my paved driveway, I think I would have put a stop to it sooner.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I'm just going to say, when Mr. Stevens contacted me, he said he was getting nowhere with anybody at the village, nowhere. And at the end of the day, people have been there, DTI was there, people from the village were there, getting nowhere.
I stepped down for a second just to answer Councillor Carey's. The last council was asked to see if they could do something, and we couldn't we couldn't get an agreement with DTI, so it sort of died.
Will there be an issue though with DTI backing out of that lane? There is nowhere to turn, right? Is that what's going
I'm
to happen
going to let the
here?
CAO answer that question.
DTI has indicated that they are not responsible. They're a contractor for the village, for those lanes. If we don't provide a turnaround, they won't plow. So, and I can't actually construct a turnaround there because the land drops off. So we're obligated to turn in his driveway. The landowner adjacent to him has not given us permission to turn on his land either. So Mr. Stevens has been adamant, if we don't repair and fix, we're not going to turn.
But if we do repair and fix it, they're going to allow us to turn?
He will, yes.
Wouldn't that leave us repairing it again?
Well, it lasted, I don't know how many years. We're going to repair the base and fix it. I don't really have an option to offer you a rate at this point. It's something that's been going on for years. I mean, we've all been turning there.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. So he has a paved driveway, and there's a cottage just beyond his property on the opposite side of the road, which I believe is a dirt driveway. Would it not be an option to speak with those owners to see if they could be turned, like if the vehicles could turn there?
Did you look at that property? It drops off quite dramatically right there. I don't know if we get somebody stuck in there or not being able to turn, because they don't plow right to the end, eh?
I'm meaning on the property.
To leave us turn there and the plow turn there, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. And I think that if we did pave below, if we were able to, it would probably cost us the same amount of money as redoing his driveway. So this issue has been going on for a while.
And just to be clear, I'm in agreement with repairing what has been damaged. If it's been damaged, if the damage was caused by DTI in the village, then absolutely it should be repaired, but I'd like to come up with a better solution as to then continue to do what we've always done, do you know what I mean? And also, I don't want to put, the whole street at risk of possibly losing a snow removal option. So I think it's something that we kind of need to figure out.
I can check with Mark again, but I'm pretty sure that we've explored, between Cameron and Mark, explored almost all the possibilities down there to get something else organized. But I can check it again, Counselor, I'll get back to you.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. And I guess, clerk, did you get the change? I think there was a change in the amount. Okay, so on the motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Pardon me? I have Councillor Carmichael. Okay, Councillor Guitar-Mutanel has taken her topic off, because that's going to an in-camera, I believe, right? Yes. Okay. So we are into administration reports. CAO Kingston.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's been no grant report or requests, recommendations, no requests that hit the desk today. Asset Management Plan Phase 2, I'm back on the agenda, Your Worship, and I actually probably missed the recommendation from Council, which said that I should go back out to tender for the Asset Management Program. I missed it completely. I thought it had been tabled. That having been said, we are now into the middle of July, and these projects have to start by August of 22, or we will lose our 80% funding formula. So I'm recommending that the low bidder, that Council award the low bidder to Roy Consultants for $57,000 for the Asset Management Program Phase 2.
So let's see if we can get the motion on the table, and then we'll have a discussion once we get the motion on the table. So can I get a mover for dash 120?
I'm going to bring it to the table, Your Worship.
0718-120, that council rescinds the previous motion, that the council go to tender Phase 2, given the time constraint of reference of asset management program, that council approves the quotation from the bidder, Roy Consultant, for the asset management Phase 2 for the amount of $57,000.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
The motion's on the table. On the question?
I thought this was approved a couple of months ago. I thought that we agreed to go in with Roy Consultant to start with. I thought this was already started.
I'm not sure if I don't remember having an official, we may have had an official motion, but not quite certain we did. But we can check on that, but. Okay. Anybody else?
For me, I'm going to comment that I've read both proposals, or three proposals, that type of thing. I have seen some things that I'm not really happy with, but the other side of the coin is I'm not prepared to jeopardize the 80% that the province are covering to bring our asset management plan to fruition. You know, at the rate we're going, we could lose out on that. So for me, reluctantly, I'm going to agree to it.
Anyone else?
Yeah. This has been one poorly handled file from the very beginning. We were asked in January to accept an $83,000 proposal, which was reduced to a $72,000 proposal. We had two proposals come in that were identical in nature except for funding or for cost. Some of them don't address the actual problems in the asset management plan. So when RVA did the asset management plan initially in 2017, the report filed 2019, they identified $12.5 million in village assets in very poor condition that needed immediate or renewal or replacement. They identified $2.3 million in assets in extreme risk that needed immediate correction action. Parts of those are the storm sewers, culverts, those types of things, which are not addressed in Roy Consultant's proposal because they are not including the video surveillance required for the storm sewers, which is the largest part of the identified assets at risk. So $57,000 from Roy's Consultants is not necessarily the lowest bid. And I've said that repeatedly, and nobody has identified the cost of the video surveillance, which is going to cost more than, I believe, the $3,000 difference between Englobe's and Roy Consultants' bid. And on top of that, RVA's proposal, which was $72,000, goes above just the storm sewer parts of the asset management plan identified by Roy's Consultants and by Englobe. And further to that, sorry, one more thing. The UMNB identified July 15th as a deadline for applications for funding. So I'm not sure where you are really with the 80% funding possibility for that grant.
Anyone else? Okay. So we'll Councillor Carmichael, did you have something? I sort of cut you off a while ago.
Yeah, I just thought that this was approved a month or so ago.
Okay. All right.
That's all.
Okay.
It's just, I think we gotta get it moving. We've been dragging our heels on it, so I think we need to move with it.
Okay. So if there's no one else to make a comment on it, we'll get to the actual vote. All those in favor of motion -120, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion. Motion passed. Councillor Robinson, the nay. 7.1.3. CAO Kingston.
Yes, Your Worship. Again, sort of a novel thing for CAO of my stature to know that a municipality owns a spur line. And I've walked it several times with bidders. There are two bidders in this process. The spur line is under tremendous strain because I think it has the highest degree turn allowed by CN, and the track is actually separating. So the track should be 56.5 inches wide, and at some points are almost at 58 inches wide. Some of the, or 75 of the ties need to be replaced. And the plates that keep the track, I can't remember the exact name for them, need to be installed in that curve. And some more ballast because the one side of the curve is down. So we had two bids. The low bid here is AVL Construction out of Grand Falls for the amount of $55,596 plus HST, and I recommend that we approve those repairs.
Can we get a mover to get the motion on the floor?
M 2022-07-18-121, that council approves the quotation from the low bidder AVL Construction Group in the amount of $55,596 plus HST to do the major repairs on the spur line going into the Chaleur Sawmill.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? Just wanted to ask, would it, we had a conversation with Mr. Woods last week. Was there anything that we wanted to let the public know in terms of that, or was that?
Well, yes, of course, I've been looking for a meeting with Mr. Woods, Dwayne Woods of Chaleur Sawmills, to get a memorandum of understanding that there would be cost sharing for these amounts. So I'm looking for a 50-50 cost share. I haven't been successful in meeting with Mr. Woods, but we'll get there. I'm sure that they will participate. They've indicated they would.
Good to know.
If I may, Your Worship, just one correction, and I don't want to be picky. I just want to say if I had a company and I changed the name, that's the name I'd want to go by. It's not Chaleur Sawmill, it's Chaleur Forest Products.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? On the motion, dash 121, the major repairs to the spur line going into Chaleur Sawmill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Next, we move on to the, continue with the administrative reports, this time from our Assistant Clerk Treasurer, Nicole Carrier, and our Acting Treasurer. Maybe, Nicole, I'll let May go first, and then we'll first opportunity to introduce to the people of the Village of Beldoon, the interim acting treasurer, May Palmer. May, we thank you very much, and we welcome you, and you have the floor. I'm not sure, is that?
Is it on? Okay, I'm not sure what reports to give, but the main thing, the utility operating fund, up to the end of May, has a surplus of $37,000. And that's due to some of the expenditures and revenues. I still have to look at it. Looks like a bit of extra revenue in water, industrial, and residential. So I will look at it some more. But you do have a surplus in the utility. And in the general, there is also a surplus of $370,000. And that is because of the spur line, we're waiting for revenue for that spur line repairs. That's a shortage in the other revenue. Under expenses, transportation, there's $130,000 surplus because of winter maintenance that wasn't spent. And then under environmental development, there's planning, $27,000, community development, $61,000, ED business, $10,000, and industrial park, $42,000. So there's money there that hasn't been spent yet. Now, in fiscal, there's a big expenditure, and that's the garbage truck. And I don't know if, I think the motion would be at year end, if there's a surplus, it comes out of there, out of the surplus, or you make a motion to take it out of reserves. So that's, I don't know, anybody have any questions? It's all new there.
Yeah, May and I have been struggling to get at least that budget report prepared, and it is May's budget report, not May the person, but the month of May.
The month, yeah.
So we are actually a couple of months behind.
Yeah.
Well, at least a month behind.
Well, I'm finishing June there, so
Right.
almost finished
And
that.
I appreciate the hours you put in, May, as well,
Well-
and Nicole.
It's a learning process, but, you know, with Nicole's
getting
help,
there.
we're working it out, yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, they can
I just
come and
have
see
one,
me.
May. You had mentioned the surplus and the winter maintenance.
Yeah,
Would we have any specifics in terms of where the surplus there might, or is that just sort of a general?
well, the number I've found is, it just says winter maintenance, 130,000, nothing was spent in that number. Now, there's winter maintenance, private C, some of that was spent. Is there any other, there's no other winter maintenance. So,
Is Deputy Mayor? Yeah.
First of all, thank you very much for the time and effort put into condensing this. It makes it a whole lot easier to read and understand, so we recognize that a lot of time and effort goes into this because the numbers got to balance. So, thank you very much for that.
welcome.
I do want to ask a question concerning the protective service budget. You know, you're showing there year-to-date at 327,000, and actual is at 315,000.
Yeah.
Where do our CMP services fall there?
RCMP to date budgeted 187,000, and that's what was spent, 187 for RCMP to the end of May. Well, that's on that,
Protective services, that's in your general fund.
yeah.
That would include the fire department and our CMP as to what we spent so far?
Yes, so, yeah, like I said, this is all new there. What else is there? Okay, fire calls, there's a surplus of 4,000. Fire chief pay $1,000. Fire personnel, workers' comp, I have to, there's 3,000 surplus there. Personnel fees and dues, 2,500. Communications, fire department, 2,800 surplus. Fire prevention conferences, 2,000, so they haven't spent it yet. And,
Okay, just wanted to understand how you condensed that, that's all.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I
that's
have
fair.
the full
Thanks.
breakdown,
No, that's fine.
too.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to be sure I
Yeah.
understood what, you
see
know.
where, yeah,
Thank you very much.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
that
Thanks a
good?
lot, May. Appreciate, yeah, all the time and effort. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. Assistant Clerk, Treasurer Carrier.
Now we just need a motion, yeah, for the,
Accept that? Yeah, so, I see that, that's right. Okay, dash 122, the motion to accept the financial report and the accounts payable be paid. So can we get a mover for that?
M 2022-07-18-122, that the financial report be accepted as accounts payable be paid.
And a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Counselor Assistant Clerk Treasurer Carrier.
well, now we just have, really, it's just, I don't have anything to say for that. Because I didn't know if May was gonna be here or not.
Yeah,
Sorry
that's
about that. So you could just keep going and then I'll go to general correspondence.
Okay, so we don't have anything under bylaws and policies or most of the resolutions that I can see, so we are at general correspondence.
Okay, so pretty short, like I said, we didn't have a lot of motions and stuff this month or for any bylaw changes or anything, but the correspondence, we have I gave you the Restigouche SPCA report for June, Beldoon Library report for June, and the Shloer Regional Service Commission building permits reports up to June 2022. And that's it for the correspondence. Like I said, it's just basically keep every day going, that's it.
Okay? Anyone have any questions, comments? Okay, we're good to go with that. We don't have a closed session this evening, so we have the motion to adjourn before we have questions from the gallery. Dash 123, can I get a mover?
Okay, I move that the meeting is adjourned at 7:29.
A seconder?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Take a minute here and we'll get to our questions. Thank you.